You touched on something about Q3 being a little bit quieter in terms of maybe the overall hype around crypto markets and investments, and maybe that's affecting transactions. It seems to be that there was a bit of a bearish market and now it's becoming a bit bullish. And I'm just wondering, firstly, do you agree with that? And secondly, how do you think that's going to have an impact on Wirex?
Well, I wouldn't say we're in bear market at the moment. Obviously, Ethereum, for example, was hitting all-time high just a week ago. Bitcoin price was 55K, which is quite high as well. So I wouldn't say we are in bear market at the moment. Having said that, I do think a lot of companies, including Wirex, we expecting that there will be crypto winter at some point. There will be drop off in crypto-related activities. And again, a lot of companies in the space thinking that this crypto winter might be coming due to the regulatory crackdown. And we currently see that certain companies, including Wirex in UK, for example, experience this a bit more regulatory pressure. Coinbase is another example in the United States. Uniswap been investigated by SEC. Obviously, Binance probably another example on another side of the spectrum, having issues with every single market. But I don't think there is a bear market at the moment. There are a lot of activity happening in the space. Again, we see on Wirex platform there are a lot of trading activities. There are a lot of new customers coming in. But I think people in the industry, companies in the industry, they're just preparing for potential crypto winter, which might be coming. Nobody knows when it will come, but it usually comes, quite suddenly.
Okay, thanks a lot, Pavel. It's interesting for you just mentioning there about regulatory environment, and it's really a global issue right now that there's lots of regulators, probably given the interest that many consumers, retail investors are having within crypto assets, that the regulators are starting to look at how they can be best placed to regulate it, to keep it a safe environment for everyone. That kind of leads us nicely probably into the question that you probably don't like answering, and I probably as a CMO don't like talking about, but many investors are quite rightly asking is, we have a situation in the UK right now that our British-based customers, they're able to make transactions, they're able to spend the money they have on their card, but there are limits in terms of acquiring new customers for us. That's been temporarily put on hold, as well as for existing customers topping up their funds and so on. Could you give us an update on what's happening in the UK with regards to the FCA, and when our British-based customers are going to be able to start taking full advantage of all of our features?
Sure. So maybe just provide a bit of recap what we were discussing on the last investor update. So that's correct. We put restrictions in UK for certain activities for UK customers, for existing and new customers. And I think last time when we had this meeting, I was talking that we will be submitting kind of response or a plan to FCA, and we were waiting for a response from FCA. So it's exactly what happened. We basically did everything they wanted us to do. We submitted our response to FCA. After that, we have a few calls with FCA where FCA verbally confirmed that everything is all right, everything is in place. And we agreed, and we were told by FCA that the next step for us will be to receive an official response with the next steps. So how it works with regulator, you need to receive a paper, email, explaining what would be the next steps. And the challenge for us is that we kind of still waiting for this response. We've been chasing FCA constantly every week. Last week we were told that it should be coming. Actually, this week we were told that it should be coming next week. But there was delay, and it looks like FCA might be busy with some other applications. I'm pretty sure there is, summer holiday holiday season. Some people might be off. So yeah, the situation right now, we're still waiting for this response. We understand that what we did is enough. And FCA is quite happy. Again, they verbally confirmed that, but we're just waiting for official confirmation, and next steps will be listed in this document. We are hopeful. I know it's very disappointing and painful for us to have this restriction in place, but again, we're doing everything we can in order for us to lift with restrictions sooner rather than later. And maybe just wanted to provide a bit more kind of insights for our users, for our investors about situation in UK. As you probably know, there is kind of temporary registration regime at the moment. So if you're a crypto-related company, you have to be registered with FCA. And there are certain companies on this temporary list, and this FCA basically go through these companies and they assess them. And we now know that certain companies, for example, had to leave UK, and there are quite big names there, like Binance or Celsius and a few smaller ones. And we do believe that we will hear more, about more cases like that later this year. So the reason I'm talking about this is that it's very important to understand while we have these temporary restrictions, which is it's disappointing, it's frustrating, it's unfortunate for us. But in the mid-long term, it will allow us to serve UK customers in a way FCA wants us to do that. And again, some other companies who didn't comply with the requirements, they now had to leave. And we will see more of such companies later this year. So from this perspective, the entry barrier in UK becoming very, very high. But also, we do expect the competition will go down at some point once FCA will go through all companies who is on temporary list. I also believe that FCA might be looking into restricting some other companies who is currently serving UK customers outside of UK. I think Coinbase and PayPal are very good examples. Both are not registered with FCA in UK. But they're serving customers outside of UK. I think this creates a market risk because some of the market participants have to be registered, but some don't. I think FCA will be dealing with this at some point as well. Overall, I think what we will be expecting more regulated, clear, transparent market, and entry barrier will be high and competition will be lower.
Okay, yeah, that's really interesting to hear, and you're absolutely right. There's a lot of companies, not only within the crypto-friendly space that we're operating, but even, let's say, some of the more mainstream fintechs, such as Monzo, who've been under various kind of investigations, or they're in dialogue with their own specific matters with the regulator in the UK as well. So I guess the message is we just have to hold on and hang tough and hope that the approval comes through very soon. One of the reasons why we've got a lot of questions actually about the FCA from UK users is it's related to one of the products that we launched earlier in the year, and that was X accounts, which has been doing really good. There were a few people that were just really upset that they can't take advantage of X accounts because it's a really good product. I'm just wondering, maybe you could give your perspective on how X accounts has gone so far.
Yeah, sure. But Tony probably will be talking a bit more about X accounts. But from my perspective, X account is one of the best performing and fastest growing feature product we ever had. I think probably CryptoBack was the first one in terms of engagement, in terms of generating activity, but X account is growing exponentially. Again, I do have a couple of figures just to illustrate that, but if you compare July and August with just 2 months, July and August, in August we've got more than 100% growth in terms of assets under management. And in terms of funds added, we've got increase in 83%. So we're basically talking about exponential growth of a monthly basis. So starting from July and August, we increased our assets under management by 100%. And the interesting thing that the trend continues. So again, X accounts probably the most popular product, most popular features at the moment right now.